Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a new Bisharp card. Now, the last Bisharp card that got us a little bit excited turned out that it actually couldn't KO a Gardevoir, which kind of sucked, because it was dual type. And as long as they were weak, they were also resistant. So that kind of sucked. But we got a new Bisharp. And this one can one-hit KO a Gardevoir for 1 energy. And I like it. Now, there were some incorrect translations of this going around initially. And although David Hochmann was our initial translator for this, I do need to give a huge shout out to the lovely 2new1223 on Twitter. Not the first time they've helped us out with a translation-related query for confirming the correct translation. So, Bisharp then. Well, the good news is it's got 110 HP, which is actually really low for a stage 1, and isn't good news at all. That's like Tapu Koko. That's a basic. But it's a metal Pokemon. You can use Metal Frying Pan, and I might suggest that you do. Takes away your resistance, reduces damage done to you by 30. That sounds quite good. Plus, you're hitting weakness on fairy Pokemon like the aforementioned Gardevoir. That sounds like fun. You are weak to fire, but honestly, that's just not that relevant at the moment. There aren't many great fire Pokemon running around, plus you've got Metal Frying Pan, so that sounds alright to me. You have a resistance to psychic Pokemon, so stuff like Garbodor and Espeon are going to have a much harder time getting rid of you, and the retreat cost of 2 kinda sucks, if I'm honest with you. It's just hard to get it out of the active, and we don't need that. Now, just like the Zeb Striker we looked at a little while ago, just a couple hours ago really, it's got 2 attacks and one of them is way better than the other. The good attack, for 1 metal energy, 30 damage, but if this Pokemon has no damage on it, it does 120 damage. Now, to be clear, right, if you're not doing the extra damage, 30 for 1 energy is not great. I mean, you can still KO a Ralts. Yay? And with Choice Band and Weakness, you're doing 120, which will 2-hit KO Gardevoir. But no. Let's not talk too much about that. The thing is, 120 for 1 energy is awesome. I mean, we saw Golisopod, right? Golisopod has been making hay for a while now, doing 120 for a single energy. It's really good. It's a good amount of damage. It is, of course, way better when you're hitting for a decent weakness and can get 1-hit KOs on relevant Pokemon. Well, the great news is you can. And you can. You got Gardevoir here, which is always threatening to come around and be good. I don't think it's ever going to really leave the format. Plus, you've got Alolan Ninetales, which, well, there's a video coming on that tomorrow, as long as there aren't too many new cards revealed. It looks like it's going to start ruling the format, at least as a support Pokemon, so that's amazing. And Sylveon's still running around. So even though this hasn't been the case all that often since Fairy came out, we really are in a position now where hitting weakness on Fairy, i.e. being a metal type, is great. And that gives Bisharp a huge advantage in terms of being pretty good. So that's quite nice here. Yes, you may occasionally, some Pokemon get up to 250. Maybe there'll be a Fairy Pokemon comes out with 250 HP. But you're doing 120 for 1 energy flat. So play a Choice Band. Play a Shrine of Punishment. Either of them will do the extra 10 damage here, so you're absolutely fine. And while we're talking about Shrine of Punishment, you're a non-GX. And like every non-GX at the moment, and I'm sorry, I'm mentioning it in a lot of videos, but it's ruling the format. Shrine of Punishment rocks. 1 damage counter on each Pokemon EX and GX between turns. 1 after your turn, 1 after their turn, 1 after your turn, 1 after their turn, and so on and so forth. And you just sit there chuckling. Well, even if you're not hitting for weakness here, hitting 120 while Shrine goes is quite nice. Don't forget that with Choice Band, you're up to 150, and I know 150 isn't very much. You're not getting that much. But the thing is, it doesn't have to end with 150. Shrine of Punishment here really spectacularly helps. But it's not just Shrine of Punishment. Might I suggest using something like the aforementioned Tapu Koko or something like Latios? Look, we know it's not Latias. By now you should know this channel is more of a Latias fan, but whichever artwork you use, there's a Latias in the background. It's not Latias. Baby Daisy's not that proud of you, but it's not a million miles away. And if you start spreading damage with those Pokemon, then you start using Shrine of Punishment, then 120 for 1 energy rocks. And let's be perfectly clear, right? 120 for 1 energy is spectacular. It's wonderful, it's brilliant. We've seen this. I mean, Lucario would be another example of a Pokemon that's wonderful because it can do 120 for a single energy. It's a great amount of damage. If you're hitting for weakness, yay! If you're not hitting for weakness, well, between stuff like Tapu Koko and Latios and Shrine of Punishment, you should be okay here. You should be fine. Now, the original translation we were getting here was that in order to do the extra damage, you had to have some damage on you. Honestly, that would be better. Because on the one hand, you got Potown, yay, puts 3 damage on when you evolve. But Rainbow Energy. The translation we did have, it does the extra damage if you've got damage on you, would be wonderful. You put Rainbow Energy on it, any deck can play Rainbow Energy, and it is a Metal Energy, and you take a damage counter, which you need. It's brilliant. I'm slightly less of a fan of it when it's got to be undamaged. But here's the thing, a lot of the time it's going to be undamaged, at least initially. Maybe your opponent has something like a Tapu Koko rolling. But most of the spread we're seeing at the moment is stuff like Shrine of Punishment, which hits EXs and GXs. There are others being played. So this is quite nice. It means if you're not taking damage, you're rocking and rolling. And don't forget we do have Sky Pillar here. Sky Pillar is a stadium card you can use, and yeah, maybe your opponent field blowers away Sky Pillar and then it doesn't protect you, but it's pretty much the best protection we've got, or even you could use Machoke here. And they pretty much are the 2 options you've got for protecting yourself on the bench. You shouldn't need them, but if you want to protect yourself on the bench, they're the options that you've got. Then you come active, and you should have 1 turn where you're hitting 120 for a single energy. That's nice. But there are a couple of cards, and these were specifically mentioned in the official YouTube video where this was revealed, that will help you out massively here. And they are Max Potion, and they are Metal Frying Pan. You see, one of the things that's awesome about Metal Frying Pan is that it reduces damage done to you by attacks by 30 damage. That's nice. And to be clear, that doesn't just have to be when you come into the active. That's going to be sitting there doing its thing if you're sitting on the bench and your opponent's using Tapu Koko. Yes, fine, if they use a field blower to get rid of it, it won't, but generally speaking, this will protect you as well as Machoke and Sky Pillar do. So actually here, this is looking alright. And against something like a Buzzwole that's just doing 30 damage, you're like, now you're not hitting me, I'm still doing 120. And then they're probably like, I'm using Diancie Prism Star, and you're like, oh man, that sucks. But you know, you can't win them all. And then you got Max Potion. Max Potion completely heals you. Yes, the downside is that you've got to get rid of all the energy, but you're using 1 basic energy. And if you're that worried about it, Mount Coronet will get it back. You completely heal, and then you can do 120 the next turn. And I think that's what saves it. With the initial translation, you could use Rainbow Energy, and it would be nuts good. Without Rainbow Energy, it's not quite so good, but you still got Counter Energy here. You've still got Metal Energy. And there's nothing to stop you playing 1 or 2 Metal Energy and an Energy Spinner. Energy Spinner's basically Energy Search, but on turn 1, if you go second, you get free energy. So that's alright. And then you can tech this into other decks. If you're looking for a Pokemon with which to take down stuff like Gardevoir, Sylveon, or Alolan Ninetales, which is probably going to be the most heavily played of all of them, this does it for a single energy. And if you're really worried about having it unblemished, just play Max Potion. Certainly, if you're playing a metal deck, this seems like a great inclusion, because I've played metal decks a lot, right? And there's lots of high-energy attackers. Duskmane Necrozma, lots of energy. Solgaleo Prism Star, lots of energy. This, okay, it's a stage 1, but it's a single energy. I am a big fan of this attack, and we've seen with Pokemon like Golisopod and Lucario in the past, 120 for 1 energy is great, this should see play. Now, as for the second attack, I remain spectacularly unexcited. Metal double colorless 90 damage. Look, in the previous video, I showed you Zeb Striker. And I told you that free energy 100 sucked. Okay, here you can use double colorless energy, but no. And I know that with a choice badge, you'll still get that one-hit KO on Gardevoir and all the others. Don't care. There are better uses. If you're putting free energy on a metal Pokemon to do 90 damage, how about Registeel? It's a basic, and the first attack accelerates energy. No, ladies and gentlemen, Bisharp is there for the first attack. But it's great, and I'm giving it 4 Wassies, because I think it's a really good attack. And maybe you're thinking, come on, Wassie, 4 Wassies, that's a bit heavy, that's a bit much. I don't think you should have given it a score that high. Or maybe you agree. Either way, great news. There's a comment section. Do go nuts, but I would ask you to remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.